Hello everyone, one and all, and it's time for another episode of New Cats on the Block. We are starting this one hot here, getting right into our 2017 season, coming off of our victory over Tennessee in the Capital One Bowl. We've reloaded and we are ready into the season, coming in at number 4 and starting off with a massive, humongous W over Utah State. Utah State's pretty bad in these games. I think they remain pretty bad, but remember, we're like 15 years into the future here. We followed with another crushing victory over the Knights here at UCF, going into our third relatively easy out-of-conference game against Pittsburgh on the road, and we drop another 50-piece on the road against Pittsburgh, moving up to third in the nation, finishing off our out-of-conference schedule with Arkansas State, another weak opponent who we beat 59-3. So we have yet to score less than 50 points this year. I mean, we are on historic pace. That already has to be a record, right? I mean, that's like what, it was 300 points already in the first 4 games. We do pull off a very close victory in the shoe against Ohio State. I don't know how many times we beat Ohio State in the shoe, but again, got to be a record for this program. Our get-right game, our famous get-right game against the Golden Gophers, ends in a 58-0 absolute blowout of the Gophers, and we follow up at Indiana in Bloomington, I believe, 61-20, so another 60-point victory. So the lowest amount of points we've scored so far is against the Buckeyes, only 24, which is a dub. So after our bye week, we have probably the season decider right here against Wisconsin, and we pull it off with a close field goal to win against the 8-1 Badgers. We hand them their first L on the year and follow up with another humongous victory over the Boilermakers of Purdue. And then another 50-plus point performance by our offense gives us a victory over the Nittany Lions of Penn State. We get our revenge on the Wolverines of Michigan by beating them 52-3, man. Michigan having another difficult season here, hovering around 500. And then as we close things out with a rivalry game where we win by convincing fashion again. So bing, bada, boom. Another perfect regular season for sure is going to put us in the driver's seat here for another BCS bid here. But first, we got to take a look at our beautiful Big Ten Conference trophy, because we finally win the Big Ten again for the next, for what, like the third time? I don't know. I'm losing track at this point here because we just keep winning the Big Ten. And we also win another quarterback of the year. So Hobson wins the quarterback of the year. I don't know how many of our quarterbacks have won that trophy at this point. We've won it, I want to say like 5 times, but we also grab another Maxwell Award. We haven't won one of those in a couple of years either. So we're loading up the trophy case. You know, when we're loading up the trophy case, things go well. Hobson finishes third in Heisman voting. We still have yet to get a Heisman winner, but this is the first probably legitimate BCS game we are going to play. We get invited to the Rose Bowl to play the Miami Hurricanes, who are number 1 in the nation. We didn't touch number 1 all season, so I guess Miami's just kind of been in the driver's seat and kind of held on to it. We're clearly the best team here. Look at our freaking our bars. We're A+ across the board. We are the team, man. We have the best offense in the country. Miami doesn't have anything that comes close to number 1 in really anything, so we are by far the better team here. This should be a slam dunk for us in this Rose Bowl. It's our second, I believe, our second game in the Rose Bowl ever. Our first time was back in 2012 when we played USC, and we beat USC pretty bad. We beat them up in pretty embarrassing fashion. But yeah, so it's our second time here. This is not new to us, and even the BCS is not new to us, as we won our first one a couple seasons ago against the Air Force Falcons, who are fortunately not in this. If we had another rematch against Air Force, I think I'd probably lose my mind. So I'm glad we finally get to play a legitimate program in the BCS title game after an insane regular season, dude. Did you see how many 50-plus point performances we had on offense? I mean, just absolutely nuts here. Something to note with some of the, I have never pointed this out, but like the numbers here that we see from like the opposing teams, like that was a pretty average season for Miami's quarterback, and he's coming in against us here. Miami's been the number 1 team all year. I'm guessing they started there or probably close to that, because we started, 4th, and I think we only ever made it up to 2nd. We never even got a chance at first. We were clearly the best team here. But either way, we're starting things off here with the Wildcats on offense here. We're a couple minutes into the first quarter, and Hobson's Hobson's going to keep it himself and run up the middle and get a good handful of yardage. So on second and short, Hobson's going to drop back. He's got a clean pocket here, but steps up into the one pressure, the one guy who did break through, and he gets gobbled up in the backfield. So we're moving the wrong direction. So 3rd and 5 here, Hobson's going to drop back and float this one out to his receiver, who does haul it in for a first down at about the 41 or 42 yard line. So 1st and 10, fresh set of downs for Hobson and this Wildcat offense. He's going to drop back again, has a very clean pocket, steps up again, and wants a deep ball, and he finds a wide open man who's got some space here, and he's got the speed to find the end zone, and that is a touchdown for the Wildcats early on here in this Rose Bowl. So a little bit back and forth here. We kind of struggled getting the things rolling, getting the things that we knew we could get rolling. But finally Hobson finds the open man. Beautiful play design here, just kind of crafted up. It was really just opened in just like a pocket. But Miami, it's their turn to see what they can do, and with a ton of space in the backfield, he also finds an open man and makes a completion into Wildcat territory. I believe it's Robinson was his name. I think we're gonna call him Robinson moving forward, as if it really matters what his true name is, because we're just here to put the Hurricanes away and move on with our lives and pick up another BCS. So let's see if we can here early in the second quarter, starting things off, continuing with the Hurricanes drive in Northwestern territory, and some fancy trickery here. Has him about 10 or 15 yards in the backfield, but it's going to actually go back to Robinson, who makes a nice catch, I guess, reception, and cuts upfield for another 10 or 15 yards to get the ball into the red zone. Very interesting play. Miami's pulling out all the stops here to try and win this game here. I can't remember which national title this would be for them in this dynasty. I think they've already won 2 or 3 before, so they're trying to pick up another one. They're first in a good number of years here, so they are in a good position, as it is goal to go for the Hurricanes here in the second quarter. And Robinson's going to find a Northwestern defender who's got some space going the other way and brings it out to about the 16 or 17 yard line. That was Edmonds, who picks up his 7th interception of the year, I believe. So the stats don't update live, so I had to think about it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's his 7th pick on the year, and it comes in a huge moment here in this primetime game. So we have things going the other way, and Hobson under some pressure here, but he floats it up in a triple coverage. A Northwestern receiver comes down with it. So we have this thing working here inside Hurricane territory with just under a minute left to go here, right by the midfield logo. So Hobson taking a high snap, and he still has time to find an open man who cuts upfield and takes it inside the 30-yard line, the Miami 30-yard line. So we're going to play some clock management game here and see if we can get it to anybody, but the only man we can get it to is a Hurricane defender. So unfortunately, our momentum that we were building here heading into the locker room in the first half, maybe get some extra points here, stops dead in its tracks as Hobson makes a costly mistake here. And I'm not really sure what he was seeing. It seemed like Miami had a pretty good defensive scheme out there, had things pretty well covered. So Miami with 30 seconds here to potentially add some points and answer back to us. And in a ton of coverage, Robinson threads that through 2 defenders. I think we even got a hand on it, but the Miami receiver can still come down with it. So 27 seconds here now at about the 40-yard line here of Northwestern, and Robinson throws up another dangerous lob, and about 4 or 5 different Wildcats were in the vicinity, and it did hit off of his tight end's hands, but he could not haul it in. So pressure gets to Robinson on 2nd and 10, and he gets brought down by Sterling, our middle linebacker, and the clock is continuing to run here. Miami's not really in a position to do much with the clock here as it's 3rd and 17. They'd have to pretty much take a shot towards the end zone. It looks like that's what they will attempt to do, as Robinson has a ton of coverage up front, and he lobs this one up for the end zone, and he hauls it in. He finds the one open man to haul that one in, and Miami's going to answer Northwestern finally with 2 seconds left in the first half with a touchdown. And man, we didn't have any pressure on Robinson. He had all freaking day to make that decision, and he makes the right decision. So it looks like our defender who had the pick earlier, Edmonds, who had the pick earlier, in the first half, tried to go again for it, but he just misread or mistimed the play. So we need to answer back quick here. We need to get some momentum going our way, and that's certainly going to help as Hobson gets another massive completion that'll get us down towards midfield here. as we try to work in deep into Miami territory here to start off the third quarter. So Hobson rolls out to the right slightly and finds another open man who cuts upfield along the sideline and gets brought down inside the 30-yard line. So our offense is finally rolling here after kind of stalling out here in the first half after scoring pretty early on. So 1st and 10 now. We're going to send a man in motion. Hobson going to fake the handoff and stand all alone in the backfield and dot this one up in the center of the field in between a bunch of Hurricane defenders for another Northwestern touchdown. So how's that for an answer back to the Hurricanes, huh? Are we scared yet? I don't think so. I'm certainly not scared. I'm composed. I'm calm, cool, and I'm collected. If you can't tell, I'm confident here in our abilities. But that's going to end the third quarter here. We hold on to a 7-point lead over the Hurricanes. It is still really anybody's game in this Rose Bowl. Nothing is set in stone. Anything can really happen. And we've seen things already kind of happen in this game here as we've exchanged a pair of turnovers. We did that in our last BCS appearance. There were, 8 or 9 total turnovers? So a very short yardage situation for Miami. We need to come up big, and we do, as Edmonds. Well, I mean, that was Edmonds, I think, on the defense here. But Robinson cannot connect with his receiver. But on 4th down, Miami's going to keep the offense on the field. They have plenty of time. They don't need to do this, but it is a great situation to go for it. And so they are going to take it, and it pays off big time as Robinson, again, drops it in the breadbasket for his receiver, surrounded by Wildcats. I mean, a pretty solid offensive scheme for Miami. I'm impressed with how they're able to create some space here with such a great defensive front ahead of them. And so Robinson's going to take a shot for the end zone, and he had a man open somewhat, but the defense is firm again. So 2nd and 10 now. Is Robinson going to take another shot towards the end zone? It looks like he might as he throws it to the middle of the field, and there was nothing but Wildcats in that vicinity. He's lucky that wasn't picked off. We really needed to come down with that ball. So 3rd and 10 now for Miami. We really need to come up big again and shut down this offense. Robinson's going to drop back, and pressure gets in his face, but he still has a lot of clear lane to throw. And again, he finds another Wildcat defender who nearly comes down with it, man, just bobbling with it. So Miami's going to send out the kick unit to try and knock this one through, and he does. So now it is just simply a 4-point game. So we could score again and potentially put this game away, and Hobson's going to do the absolute opposite of that and find an absolute dot. Lay up an absolute dime to Miami's secondary. So Miami has prime field position here, going the other way, and Robinson says, hey, anything you can do, we can do better, as he finds Cross, or strong safety, who comes up with the humongous interception, and that will potentially put us in the driver's seat here. And it's another 3rd yardage situation, and we can't quite pick it up with Nixon on the ground. So Miami does come up big here as we are trying to burn some clock, but we're going to send out the kick unit, and this is massive. If we can get this through, it'll be a 7-point game, and we are still well alive. And so the kick is up, and Dyer nails it through. So 17-10 now. We burned off a couple minutes off the clock, but there is still plenty of time here for Miami to operate. Less than a minute to go here, and they pick up the 1st down, and there's some space created here. That was just a complete breakdown by our defense. We had them well covered behind the sticks even, as it was a terrible play by Miami's offense, but they were able to cut up field and create. So clock is continuing to run here, and Robinson's going to spike the balls. They have 41 seconds to operate. That's a lot of time to get down the field, but they need a touchdown. They cannot just take a field goal, so they're going to have to move here. So a high snap for Robinson. He's going to float this one out to the flat, and he had a wide open man who couldn't quite haul it in. That's the same 87 he's been going to all game long, and he does not come up clutch here. So 3rd and 10 for Miami's offense. Robinson's going to stand in the pocket firmly, and this time he will connect with 87 directly across the middle of the field for another Miami 1st down. So clock is continuing to run here once we get the ball set up. And what's going on? Okay. There he is. All right, we got him. We were looking for the ball umpire. We need the spot ump from the XFL who always controls the ball. But I guess that must have broke Miami's brain. I guess NCAA 04 just kind of broke down because we took forever to get the ball, and Miami took even longer to spike it, I guess. So with just 20 seconds now, Robinson gets himself gobbled up in the backfield, and the clock is continuing to run. 3rd and 14, 12, 11, 10. The time is just continuing to run here as Miami is slowly getting back to the line here. They desperately need to get into the end zone. Can they do it? Robinson's last play, he floats it up to the end zone, and it is brought in. It's not quite to the end zone, but he gets it well within the 10. But the clock is going to hit triple zeros, and that is going to be it. as he finds number 87 Green again for probably the 50th reception of the game, and he hauls it inside the 20, excuse me. I thought he was maybe taking a shot towards the end zone, but not even close. But Miami gets in position. They can't quite finish it off, and our 7-point lead holds as we extend to 13-0 and grab our second national title in this dynasty mode. It's our second in 3-4 years. I mean, we just are those guys, man. So what happens next? What do we do next? We still have some years before we reach the end of my desired time frame for this dynasty. So come back in the next video when we kind of look forward ahead to I guess the road ahead. See what even left is there to achieve. We're going to cover that all in the next video.